Hey guys, Corey, Faymus Media. I'm here with my brother and videographer, and we're going to look at Dark Souls 3. So Dark Souls 3 is out. I wanted to do a review the moment it came out, but we've been running all over the place on business. We're here in Florida. We're just finishing up in Jacksonville, and we've got Dark Souls 3 here, and I wanted to start getting more games for the channel. I've been talking about it. I've been doing computer building, computer gaming. I haven't forgot about everybody in the camera reviews. Tons of those are coming. Got the Sigma 50mm 1.4 art and the Canon T6i review, which I filmed yesterday at Disney World. So with Dark Souls 3, it's really hit or miss for some people, as it's not a game for just casual fun gamers. It's hardcore. So if you have a bad temper when you play, or you tend to smash things, or you get angry, or you cry yourself to sleep if a game is too hard, this game's not for you, as you will probably go into a deep depression and never come back from it. So with all jokes aside, the Day 1 edition comes with a guide and the soundtrack and this embossed collector's type sleeve. It's pretty cool. We haven't played the game yet. We've researched it, looked at it. I've been waiting for it for a while. So we're going to get right into it right now. This is not a complete playthrough. We're just going to play up to the first boss. If we're lucky, we'll get to the first boss. And we'll just kind of give you the rundown of the mechanics and how this works. I'm a big fan of the Souls games. I was actually brought on to them by a friend of mine who actually lives across the country. I met him playing Destiny. Believe it or not, I have the Destiny shirt on. I'm a big gamer. I'm a professional photographer, but I love games, and whenever I have a chance, I play them. But he got me into Dark Souls 2, and I played that. Then I got Bloodborne like that, went back and played Dark Souls 1. I prefer the mechanics of Dark Souls 2 over Bloodborne or Dark Souls 1. But that's mainly because the smooth frame rates, and it's a longer game. There's a lot of different things about it that I liked, although Bloodborne was great in its own way. The soapstone is better than the bell chiming, in my opinion. Plus, the enemies were more relatable in Dark Souls 2. You had some guys with armor. You had some, kings that were dead. People wearing armor. Whereas Bloodborne, you were fighting, like, all kinds of tentacle
eyeballs and feet
and like brains and all kinds of crazy like demonic stuff.
It was a good game, but I mean, a little far-fetched. Blood doesn't make people grow feet out of their eyes.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, we always have that joke about Bloodborne and From Software games, where it's like most of their games have like these crazy type things going on, like we were just saying, brains just oozing out of their head and growing all kinds of tentacles and fungus and all kinds of crap. But they're good games, and if you know anything about the sequels that have come out over the years from Software, then there's probably a few that know that they came from a company called ASCII Group. ASCII Group International was bought out by somebody else, which in turn bought out From Software. They go all the way back to a series called King's Field, which is the originator of the franchise. They did King's Field, King's Field 2, King's Field 3, and they moved on to Armored Core throughout that series as well. From Software are not new to video gaming, so if anybody thinks that their first game was Demon Souls, in fact, it was not. You got to go back to the King's Field days, which in my opinion are just brutal difficulty compared to Dark Souls.
And fun factor raises the bar because they're completely different games.
Yeah,
so
very.
If you're nostalgic for a nostalgic factor and you like playing old games anyway, I highly recommend grabbing a PS1. Or a PS2 for that matter, because it plays PS1 games, but running over and grabbing one or looking online and finding one, because the games are amazing.
Absolutely. So here we are at the main menu. I'm going to go ahead and just start it. It's going to make you guys watch the cinematic. Dark Souls never explains the story very well. It won't let me skip it. I don't want to ruin it for you, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about a couple things right quick. It's going to make me accept this agreement. And I have to scroll all the way down.
Just hold it.
So I'm going to scroll down and accept this agreement, get things started here. With this Dark Souls game, you're going to be able to create your character right at the beginning, and I have, some good tips for you, but I'm going to let the system here get set up for the game. We're going to go ahead and set it up. It's not that big of a deal what I set it to right now. We're just going to give you the basic run through. It's not going to be a full review. Just to give you an idea, hopefully we'll get to the first boss, but we're going to let you guys watch the cinematic. It's about 3 to 4 minutes long. And then we'll come back, create the character, and we'll try to get to the boss and show you some of the mechanics. So let's go ahead and watch this. don't expect a big explanation, as they don't really explain a whole lot. You'll have to find it in the lore.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, Saint of the Deep. Farron's Undead Legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the Giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
All right, so here we are, character creation screen. I just gonna call him Corey. Could call him Jim, Bob, or Phil. Not a big deal.
It'd be cool that to say Bob walked up and slayed the Lord of the Cinder. That would be funny.
Okay, so you have multiple options here. A knight, mercenary, warrior are going to be very similar. I know there's big differences between the two in some aspects, on basic stats. But there's a certain way I like to play the game. I don't know if anybody else does the same thing. If you pick a sorcerer, you can hit everybody from far away, whereas a knight, you're up close. Same thing with a mercenary and a warrior, very similar. There's going to be bosses where you're going to need to be close. There's also going to be bosses where you're going to need to be far away. There's also going to be bosses and enemies you can't hit close because you can't get to them. So with a knight, a mercenary, or a warrior, you're going to end up having to use a bow and arrow at some point because there are some enemies, like I've seen in the past, that you just can't hit unless you have ranged attacks. So what I typically do is I'm going to pick a sorcerer, and I recommend picking a sorcerer. And what happens is with the sorcerer, as long as you put some level into your attunement and into your intelligence, you're going to be able to level him up. Your intelligence is going to basically decide how tough and strong your attacks are with your magic spells, and your attunement is going to be how much magicka power you have, because this game is based off also magicka power now, and not just how many of a quantity you have of certain items. So in Dark Souls 2, if you had 20 soul arrows, when they're gone, you'd have to hit a bonfire to get them back, whereas this game, it uses magicka power, which regens. So The attunement's going to affect how many different magic spells you can have equipped at one time, but also the amount of magic power you have, which determines how many times you can use your magic spells before having to wait for it to regen, which makes you vulnerable in battle. So what I recommend, which is what I'm actually going to do, is I'm going to create a sorcerer, level the attunement and the intelligence and the endurance up to about 20, and then I'm going to go ahead and start putting stuff into my strength, which will allow me to put on a really heavy shield or sword, which I'm not going to use a shield, but it's just, you know, it's there for an option. And I'm going to go two-handed. I'm going to have a staff in one hand and a very, very powerful, heavy, ginormous dragon bone or sword in the other hand, which will allow me to smash everything in one hit up close or use ranged attacks. It's kind of my little trick. You know, I'm sure there's going to be someone else in the world that does that, but that is definitely how I'm going to play. So pick a sorcerer here. Burial gift, I'll definitely pick the life ring. Some people may say that's stupid. That's just what I like. Gonna go here into build. Let's just do some basic stuff. We're going to go into the appearance.
Make him an old man.
Yeah, let's make him an old man so he can't even defend himself. Let's do hair color and style. We're gonna give him nice hair here, make it kind of cool. Not that anybody's really even gonna see it, honestly, because most people are going to want to put a helmet or some type of defense on this poor guy's head so he doesn't get destroyed. However, there are some individuals who want to stare at the hair the whole game. So if that's your take on this game, definitely pick some cool hair. All right, we're going to finalize the creation as a sorcerer. Here we go. Let's step into the game. We haven't played the game yet. We're going to go right now. You know, I've always loved playing these games as a sorcerer. Just sitting back and shooting all the enemies and bosses with soul arrows and soul spears, and being able to have some ranged attacks is definitely fun. Makes the game a little bit easier at times when I know it can be very, very, very difficult. Like I said before, if you guys don't know, From Software was partnered with ASCII Group International, who got bought out in Japan by another company who now owns From Software. Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne are not their first series of games. They also did the Armored Core series, but this franchise's style and RPG heavenliness came from Kingsfield 1 and 2. So those are great games. Here we are starting off in the Century of Ash. Just going to run through here. Let me equip. Got soul arrows right there. Let's pull out my staff. Let me go in my menu here and let's get rid of this shield. Put on a dagger.
And then there you go, one in each hand, perfect.
Is my life ring already equipped? Yes, it is. Okay, so here we go. I'm, you know, as you can see, I'm got two weapons. R1, R2 is for my magicka, and L1, L2 is for the blade. Lock on with your R3 thumbstick. The first part of this game is like any other From Software game. It's meant to break you. My brother likes to mentally prepare for the anguish.
Oh yeah, this game, if you're new to the series and you've never played any games like this before and you're just going to start out with playing Souls 3, you can do that if you want, but just don't be discouraged. Every game From Software makes, the very first part of the game, they put you right into the crap, like right into it, to break you. It's meant to break your spirit right away. They don't coddle you with a diaper and let you just coast along lightly through the beginning. They put you right into it, and they want you to experience the game full force. Once you beat the first boss, you're prepared for the rest of the game, and it will seem easy coasting from there. Not exactly the game is easy, but the game is far from easy.
Wasn't expecting that. This guy's just sitting there waiting for me with a crossbow to make sure he doesn't drop nothing. Graphics are really nice. The lighting effects are nice. The game mechanics feel like it's in between Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne. Not as fast as Bloodborne, but not as slow as Dark Souls 2. Right in between. Lighting the first bonfire. Let's go ahead and rest here and refill the magicka power. I was going to say soul arrows, but you don't have a quantity limit here. So we're going to rest and refill everything. Now we can leave.
What you can do is, you have two different sets of soul arrows, so I guess you could use the heavies when you get to the boss. Cause more damage.
Range attacks, as you can see, really help out. You can kill enemies from far away and not have to worry about losing health. It can definitely be a saving grace. I should have
yeah,
rolled
maybe you
off.
jumped up from above, yeah.
Yep. Well, I'll have to come back for that.
Guy right here, perfect. Got it. Yeah, got that piggy.
This isn't looking very good. It looks like there's some ginormous guy sitting over there crouching, and I do believe this is going to be some sort of huge battle.
And I would switch to your heavy arrows.
Yeah, you press up on the D-pad, you have the heavy soul arrows.
They take a while. Now, if it's the same as Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1, the heavy soul arrows, if you're using them and you haven't used them yet, you will notice that they probably cast a lot slower, but they're more powerful.
I don't want to remove this guy's sword. I have a funny feeling something bad's about to happen. I'm going to go ahead and remove it anyway, as we have no choice in the matter.
We all know what's going to happen here. This is not going to be good.
Oh, man. Here we go. This looks like the first boss battle.
Go for it.
So as you can see, a ranged attack is really going to help. It's really going to help. You want to stay away from this guy because I can only imagine the amount of damage this guy is going to cause. Oh, man. There we go.
Eat that.
We got the first boss. Be honest, he was pretty difficult, it seemed, because if he gets a hold of you, he could kill you in 2 hits. The thing is, with my experience with Dark Souls and the fact I'm using a sorcerer, made that boss battle very, very easy. So I'm sure there's many of you guys out there that would love to do this boss battle with a sword and shield. Props to you guys, because it takes a lot of skill. I mean, I could do it, but it would take me a few retries most likely, and if it didn't, I'd be here for 15, 20 minutes or more at this level. But we're gonna sit at the bonfire here, and one more time, just make sure everything's refreshed. We'll continue on and see what's going on here. He was obviously guarding something important. So we look like we got an item here to pick up. The rays of the light here are beautiful. Castle looks really good. The graphics are much better than Dark Souls 2 in that aspect, the lighting effects. In fact, it's even better than Bloodborne. This game's a little bit brighter and not quite as gloomy as Bloodborne. Oh wow, this is the Firelink Shrine from Dark Souls 1. So this basically is going to be your home base, just like Majula. Although I didn't complete Dark Souls 1. Did you?
Yeah, it was actually really good.
So here we go. This right here is actually where you can level up. She's just going to talk to you. And the fact that you're a sorcerer, I highly recommend putting at least 1 into your attunement and going ahead and putting 2 into your intelligence or 3 into your intelligence. As you can see, all your defenses for magic go up as well. It's just basically going to put up your attack power, but just to show you what it does, I'm going to cancel out, look at the magic bar, and make a note of where the magic bar is. It's the blue bar. Just make note of that. Your stamina is green, health red, blue is your magicka bar. I'm going to go in here and put all of it into attunement, which is going to basically give you a bigger magicka bar. So we're going to level up. As you can see, it's only going to be a certain amount of experience, like 757 for the first one. The second one's going to be 775. The more you level up, the higher it'll go. By the time you reach level 100, you're looking at like 200,000 experience or 200,000 souls, excuse me, for 1 level up. It gets pretty crazy. So I'm going to put 4 into the attunement and watch what happens here. I'm going to level up. Now look how big the magicka bar is. It's actually extended past the stamina bar. So that's how much we've just gained by putting the attunement up, which is about enough to cast a spell maybe 1 time. So every time you get 4 to 5 levels on there, you'll be able to cast something 1 more time before running out of magicka power. So that's pretty cool. We're not going to explore much more of the Firelink Shrine. We already did a boss. You know, you've got the dual wielding. I can strike, I can block. As you can see, I got magicka in the right arm, so I'm ranged. I highly recommend it. setting it up like that. I don't know if there's any downsides to dying. I don't think there's any punishment. I don't see any effigies, and I don't see my health bar going down. Me and my brother are discussing this right now. We're sitting here trying to figure that out. I'm on fire. Something's going on. We don't know.
There might be a difference. We haven't figured that out yet. I noticed 2 Estus flasks in the bottom. I just noticed that. So maybe when you die, you have to drink from the ashen flask.
Yeah, it looks like there's an ashen flask, so something is going on here. We haven't learned it yet, so please don't ridicule us too much. We haven't played the game. It's only been out a day. We're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Don't hate. I know there'll be people that'll, correct us. You can correct us. Don't be hating. We're not the kind of gamers that actually read up in strategy guides and strategize before games come out. I prefer to just get a hands-on experience and experience things as they're out. So we don't know much about the game because we pretty much play the same way. We like to figure everything out as it happens. So there probably is quite a few people that have already read up on everything and know all the answers to this. So if you want to share the knowledge, feel free. But ridiculing is pretty much frowned upon because gamers don't do that to each other.
So it looks like there's something going on over here. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not missing anything. But of course, right here, it looks like you've got someone that maybe is going to help you with weapons later on. And it looks like he's a blacksmith here. So I'm willing to bet, yeah, you're going to be able to infuse your weapons and repair stuff. So basically, it's the exact same thing as Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2. You can do all kinds of fun stuff there as you collect weapons later on. But that's going to do it for today, guys. I just want to give a quick overview of the game. Dark Souls 2 was my favorite, and as of right now, this feels a little bit like Bloodborne mixed with Dark Souls 2, so the mechanics are great. If you guys are into pre-ordering games, just know also that Amazon does Prime, $47.95 for all pre-order games delivered to your day on the day of release. Also, they do that deal up to 2 weeks after the games come out. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Hope you like this. I got more videos coming out in different games. Uncharted 4 will be next. I'd like, playing games in my spare time. So I have a lot of reviews coming out on that aspect as well. I haven't forgot about the camera people. The camera reviews are coming just like they've always been. I'm working on them constantly, but I'm now just adding more stuff to keep the channel interesting. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to purchase Dark Souls 3 or any of the gear or cameras or games or systems I review, to keep the channel alive and going and keeping the reviews coming strong, please use the information box down there below. It'll have all the links to buy any of the games or equipment that I review. I'm Corey with Faymus Media.
I'm Cody, the awesome film guy.
My awesome videographer and brother. And until the next time, guys, have fun, play games, and happy shooting.